All right, Notre Dame has won the toss. They elect to receive. They're on the right. The two men deep are number 28, Gary Diminick, at the top of your screen, and number 25 at the bottom, speedster Al Hunter. Greg Gant, number 8 of Alabama, will do the kicking. He has a following wind. The wind at about 15 miles per hour. We had a threat of tornadoes earlier in the evening, and we hope they have vanished. In fact, the Weather Bureau has said so. But perhaps some light rain only in the first quarter. The kick is deep, coming back into the end zone. It's Diminick, and wisely puts the knee down in the end zone. It'll be a touchback, and the Fighting Irish will first snap the ball. Here's the lineup. Dave Casper, as you see, number 86. The tight end, the split end at the bottom, 85, Pete Demerly. You see that you have Nice and Sylvester, DiNardo, Brenneman, Pomerico. Those are the men up front. And in the backfield, it's Clements, number 2, Best, a great runner, number 23, Pennick with power and speed, number 44, and powerful Wayne Bullock is a fullback, number 30. So from the 20, it's Tom Clements who gets this ball game underway, now asking for a little less cheering, so his teammates can hear the signals. Best went in motion. Up the middle goes powerful Wayne Bullock, number 30.
That's the animation that we showed you just a few moments ago. The fullback hitting in, and that time he got the ball. The linebackers were thinking wide. Number 47 is Woody Lowe, the sophomore linebacker, who other than Rod Schott of Oklahoma perhaps is the fastest that we've seen this year in this position. He fought off the block of Nice and made the tackle.
But Demerly to the near side of the field, and the ball just across the 25. Let's call it the 26. It's a second down and 4. The officials changing balls with each snap because of the wet field. And pile driving again was Bullock. He comes right off, and you see the water splash as he skids and brings with him Ricky Davis, number 19, one of the Alabama safety men. Defensively now for Alabama, 83 Croyle, Raines, number 91, Lowe, 47. We have 63 Montgomery, 36 Strickland. Also up front, number 72, Kabilas, and Dubose, number 54. While in the backfield, it's Washington, it's Davis, McMakin, along with King. So it's the initial first down of the ball game. The spot now at the 42-yard line. First and 10 for the Fighting Irish. No score. Clements. It looked to be a very good call, but filling over there very beautifully for Alabama was number 34, Mike Washington.
I really believe it was a broken play, Chris. The backfield came to the bottom of the screen, and he went to the top, and it didn't look like he had anybody leading him as you normally get when the quarterback is trying to run some kind of a bootleg. Alabama has been playing a 5-2 front thus far, but if Notre Dame continues to grind it out, we're going to see some varied alignments.
And Clements can rush. He's averaging 4 yards on each of his carries. He's 360 yards on the ground, scoring 4 touchdowns. Second and 9 now. That's Pennick in motion, who gets the ball in the reverse. Pennick brings it out to the 48 for about 5 yards. Number 43, Tyrone King, a sophomore from Dosina, Alabama, was in on the play.
Ball control, of course, is the name of the game for the Irish. They used it masterfully against the University of Southern California. But Bear Bryant thinks that if he can contain the Irish as they did on the first down of each series, as they did on this series, he can stop them.
It's third down and 4 now. That's Best in motion. Slot formation to the far side. Bullock gets the first down and more. Wayne Bullock has been a star in this initial drive of the 40th annual Sugar Bowl Classic in New Orleans.
And thus far, Alabama's defense, you can see, is concentrated very strongly on stopping the off-tackle play and the sweeps. They're giving the fullback, Bullock, room to run. Those linebackers are thinking very strongly, getting to the outside. That's their statistical record, and it's magnificent.
And now Notre Dame is in enemy territory at the Alabama 43. Bullock with 3 carries, 33 yards. First down, Tom Clements, number 2 of Notre Dame, the quarterback. Art Best, number 23. That was Best, number 23, getting a block from Gary DiNardo. The right tackle who was moving out to the far side of the field is Wayne Hall. The linebacker, number 50, came into play.
The stars on the helmets are for exceptional play that is way above and beyond what you would normally expect from a football player. It's a Medal of Honor award.
And some of those stars are falling right on Alabama now as Notre Dame has moved from its own 20 to the 40 of Alabama. Second down and 7. Wayne Bullock, for a change, was stopped. The defensive work done by Kabilas, number 72, or the Alabama front 4.
Notre Dame is truly a multiple offense. As you can see, they rarely line up in the same formation twice, but when they pick the man up in motion, they snap the ball when he's in his normal halfback spot, so they really are the equivalent of a wing T all of the time, but they may go without anybody in motion, and then they're double wing.
in 8 plays, no passes. Everything on the ground for Notre Dame. 3rd and 7 from about the Alabama 40. Clements, still no pass, and it's going to bring up a 4th down. The drive that started at the Notre Dame 20 on 3rd down and 7 stalled at the 38, bringing up a 4th down and 5.
That's the value position, which is always a critical factor. The Irish started from their own 20. They moved it down now to the 38-yard line, but when you start them way back, something usually happens before they get to pay dirt.
Both teams have great kicking games. For Notre Dame, the punter is Brian Doherty, who averages 42-7, but in this case, it won't matter. Alabama has 2 punters, a long and a short.
Alabama is expecting some kind of a fake punt because they've got no one back deep.
All right, the punt. And it takes a lateral bounce at about the 15 of Alabama, so the Crimson Tide, averaging 41 points, mighty on the ground, get to snap the ball following a 22-yard punt. No score in the ball game with 10 minutes, 46 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Wheeler, 82, 78 Sprayberry, Ruffin, 70, Kroom, number 59, Rogers, 61, Brown, 65. George Pugh is the tight end for Alabama, number 88. Well, in the backfield, the quarterback, there you see him, number 11 on his knee. That is Rutledge. Number 80, Wilbur Jackson. Then we have Ellis Beck, number 35. And then number 26, the junior Randy Billingsley, a very fine blocker. So, from the 16, 1st and 10, Alabama. And Wilbur Jackson of Ozark, a senior, carried on the play. Ross Browner, a freshman, number 89, pinned him down. There you see the Notre Dame band, which will be entertaining at halftime, a great halftime in the Sugar Bowl Classic.
Wilbur Jackson, number 80, once a receiver, swift, consensus All-America, averaged an incredible 7.9 yards per carry during the season.
Wayne Wheeler, number 82, number 1 pass catcher for Alabama, set to the far side on 2nd and 9 from their own 17. And the wishbone. Wheeler going out. Down the middle, the pass goes to Wheeler. And Wheeler had it for a moment. He got double coverage. It's an incompletion. There was not control or possession established. What a pass.
All of Alabama's passing comes off the play fake. This is Wheeler, who is their split end. He's averaged 27.9 per reception, and this was just a straight streak pattern down the field, hoping that the defense would be torn in or brought in by the running fake, and you can see that they had double coverage on him and ignored the fake.
Rudnick and Townsend were the 2 men that covered. There you see what Wheeler has done, averaging 27.9 per reception. Great year, 3 touchdowns. Now it's 3rd down and 9. Pugh, the tight end, is split to the far side with Jackson in the slot. The variations, but that didn't fool the Notre Dame defense, and especially Gary Potempa, number 40. Rutledge, the quarterback, so it's 4th down, Alabama.
Both teams have had an unusually long time to prepare for this game. During the regular season, you've got about 3.5 days to get ready. Here you've got about 4.5 weeks. You can make a lot of changes in your defensive pattern and teach it, and the first 2 or 3 possessions by both teams will give the coaches in the press box a chance to study what new is being used tonight.
Now the wind is changing to the opposite direction, gentlemen. We're in the Crescent City. Greg Gant of Alabama, 6th in the nation in punting, gets it off. Zanat has it for Notre Dame at the 40. Riding with him was Conley Duncan. That was a 48-yard punt, a 3-yard return by Zanat of Notre Dame as we look at the Fighting Irish band. So, for the second time with 9:51 remaining in the first quarter, Notre Dame will try to move the ball. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there are young ladies that attend Notre Dame and St. Mary's in South Bend, Indiana, and now Notre Dame, the second opportunity to try to move it. 1st and 10 at the 40 following an Alabama punt with 9:08 remaining in the first quarter. Art Best, number 23, uses his blockers and brings it up about 4 yards where Greg Montgomery, number 63, and 91, Mike Raines, number 91, as we indicated, were in on the tackle. There's Best.
Art Best, first time he ever carried for the Irish, Bud. Remember against Pittsburgh, 56 yards, touchdown. A couple of weeks later against Texas Christian, 57 yards, touchdown. A free-spirited kid sometimes needs discipline, but he is some runner.
All right, Pennick set away, and he has the ball here. Pennick, number 44. He's a native of Ohio. Chuck Strickland from Chattanooga, Tennessee, number 36, was in on the play. There's Pennick, number 44, coming back to the Notre Dame huddle. Scored 7 touchdowns this day. This year, rather, has caught 2 passes in the year, mainly a runner.
first down is the key play for both of these teams. They're both running teams, ball possession teams. They really must pick up 4 or 5 yards on first down to have the proper balance in their attack.
All right, now it's third down and about 2 for Notre Dame in the white jerseys. No score. It appears that Pennock is short of the first down as David McMakin of Tucker, Georgia, number 18, was right there. So it's going to be a 4th down and about a yard, Howard.
David McMakin, of course, is the younger brother of John McMakin, the tight end of the Pittsburgh Steelers. As a matter of fact, the brother went to Clemson, and everybody thought that David would go to Clemson, too. But Frank Howard, the former coach of Clemson, says that young David got some of those Bama steaks from Bear Bryant and wound up. He went to Bama.
Robin Carey is deep for Alabama. This is the second Notre Dame punt by Brian Doherty, number 9, and the wind has changed here, Bud.
And Carey is the boy that broke open the Tennessee game when it was tied 21-21 in the 4th quarter with a scintillating punt return.
Now it appears to be a following wind for Notre Dame, but it swirls around. It shifts quite a bit, and we hope with it will go the weather. But Doherty now will get the snap from Joe Alvarado. He snaps it on the punch. It's a little high. He gets it off nonetheless. Robin Carey calling for a fair catch, and you saw what the wind did to that ball. It came down like a knuckler because of the shifting winds. At the 17, and that's exactly the spot where Alabama tried to move it on their first opportunity. We'll be back. We're back again at Tulane Stadium in New Orleans, Louisiana. America's greatest New Year's Eve party featuring the battle for the national championship. Alabama getting the ball for the second time. No score. First and 10 at 17. Gary Rutledge. Covering on the play was number 14, tenacious Reggie Barnett of Flint, Michigan. There he is. What a defensive player.
Bud mentioned earlier that Notre Dame would likely show a number of different fronts, and that's exactly what they're doing, even as Alabama is doing the same thing. In other words, Air has not got his boys to school to defense the wishbone the way he did against Texas when they beat Texas and broke a 30-game Longhorn winning streak a couple of years ago.
Wayne Wheeler to the far side on 2nd and 12. They lost 2 on the play. The snap from the 15. Ellis Beck carrying for the first time, number 35, the fullback, and he's greeted by number 50, Greg Collins, and number 88, Mike Fanning. Let's take a look at Greg Collins, next year's captain.
He's number 50, normally a linebacker, that time lined up on the line of scrimmage, moving very rapidly from the outside position to make the tackle on the counter play. The Notre Dame defense is going very quickly with the quarterback. We'll see more counters here for a little while.
All right, Gary Rutledge, the Alabama quarterback. We have 6 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in the first quarter. There's no score. Each team with 2 opportunities. Ellis Beck and that Notre Dame defense, which this year has allowed an average of 82 yards per game on the ground. Number 3 in rushing defense. And that little sign says, "I'm behind the Irish."
He's got a world of company all around the country as it's New Year's Eve.
And here's the second punt by Alabama's Greg Gant now. It's a 4th down. 4th and 7. Fair catch called for by Bob Zanat. He had a less difficulty in fielding it than did Robin Carey for Alabama a few moments ago. So it's back and forth, and the kicking game thus far has been very, very important. This one went 44 yards.
This kick was very close to being blocked, as you can see the rush coming here from Notre Dame, but the slot the ball must go through was open. And number 88, who was spanning the defensive tackle, almost got to it, but they did keep the lane open.
All right. Alabama gained a little bit on the exchange of punts, about 5 yards, now from the 36. It's a first down. And Clements throws a beautiful pass, which was caught by Demerly. As an Alabama defender went for the interception, it appeared that he had tapped it, but Demerly, the great catcher for Notre Dame from New Canaan, Connecticut, helps on the 19-yard gain, combining with Clements.
This is Notre Dame's famous favorite pass pattern. The quarterback is rolling to the bottom of the screen, and when he rolls it out, it looked like it might be intercepted by Davis, but the ball was on target, and instead of an interception, it's first down Irish.
All right, now from the Alabama 45, right near it, we have Mark Brenneman snapping the ball for Notre Dame. Clements, first down. And Bullock Carries for about 2 yards, Howard.
Getting back to number 85, the split end Pete Demily. I watched him for 3 years at New Canaan under a brilliant high school coach, Bob Lynn, and New Canaan was, of course, a powerhouse Connecticut high school. They always used to kid Pete. They said he wasn't fast enough for the position, like they used to say about a kid named Howie Twilley. But he's always open, and he has the hands.
Well, it's approximately second down, or it is second down, but approximately 8 yards is Clements now. Back to throw again, down the middle, and to the same man, Demerly. And there was that move across laterally of the football field, and Notre Dame, which does not throw that much, in fact, only 113 passes by Clements. Here's the crossing.
This is the theory of the Notre Dame defense, the crossing pattern, the quarterback rolling out, as you can see here, after he is faked to the fullback, and from the bottom of the screen, the end will come across, and he will be open on one of the slots that is flashing there. This time he was open on the third slot, right there. And that's the theory of the Notre Dame crossing pattern, that you can't cover him all the way across the field. Someplace he'll get open.
Now at the 17 after a 26-yard gain, Art Best goes in motion. First down. Notre Dame threatening. Their deepest penetration. Their pass. Wide open was, guess who? Demerly.
He is having a ball. He thinks he's back at New Canaan High School. One of the things he had to learn at Notre Dame, one of the things he had to learn was that he's only part of a team. Now let's watch him in isolation. There goes Demerly again, Bud.
His pattern crossing here is not difficult to run. It's the action that you get from the quarterback who is rolling to the right of the screen that freezes it. You're not sure Clements is not going to run with the ball. The linebackers have all got to pursue, and as that graphic showed you a few moments ago, there are too many slots there to keep covered.
So a drive that started at their own 36 has now camped first and goal at approximately the 3. Bullock trying to get in. Bullock denied by the tough Alabama defense. David McMakin, one of them, the strong safety coming up fast, joining John Kroll.
But he forced what yardage he did get, and that's the secret to Bullock. As Duffy Doherty was saying to Bud and me earlier today, he said, Bullock constantly amazes me. He seems slow, you think he's going nowhere, and when he's done, he's got 4 or 5 yards.
And Duffy Doherty will be on coach's corner at halftime.
You better believe it.
The thing that sets up that pass that we didn't mention is when the quarterback gets outside of the leverage man. In order to stop that pass, you've got to keep him throttled up inside.
Now it's second down and goal from about the 1.5. Notre Dame with the ball. And again, the Alabama defense was right there. Tom Clements carrying on the play.
A little fumble on the exchange, Chris. He wanted to hand it off to Pennick coming around, but he bobbled the ball and, like any great athlete, had the reflex to bring it back in, control it, and then try to get a little yardage himself.
Clements is a great athlete because he had to beat out a great athlete who was ahead of him to get the job. A youngster named Cliff Brown out of Middletown, Pennsylvania, who once went against Jimmy Jones of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, who became the USC quarterback.
Now it's third down and goal for Notre Dame going against Alabama. There's no score as yet. Pennick in motion. Touchdown, Fighting Irish. Wayne Bullock scores the first touchdown of the 40th Sugar Bowl. And it's a party, a New Year's Eve party for the Notre Dame fans right here in Tulane Stadium, including members of the Irish Guard
and the Leprechauns, who will all be out at midnight. Let's watch it again. This is just the raw power of Notre Dame. Pennick coming in motion. The handoff to Bullock, and look at that line take off together. Low, hard, just moving Alabama back into the end zone. Bullock powers it over.
On their third possession, they score. Oh, a bad snap, too high. Bob Thomas was getting set to kick it. Doherty, the punter who holds for Thomas, it was a high pass. It was not his fault. So it's 6-0. We'll be back in a minute. Alabama getting ready to receive following a Notre Dame touchdown on a drive that went 64 yards in 6 plays. 3 consecutive passes, aiding 19 yards, 27 yards, and 13 yards for a team that passes sparingly. Notre Dame. And, of course, all of them were to Demerly, and the extra point was missed because the snap was high. Here's the kick following the Notre Dame 6-pointer. Alabama now has the ball. Battling at about the 27-yard line for the Crimson Tide was number 31, Prudhomme.
Very interesting statistic for a great offensive team. Alabama averaging 6.9 yards per play coming into this game, held to only 1 yard, and they've had 2 possessions. This is their third.
Yes, but it's very, very early. And the thing to remember about Alabama is they're the most explosive team in the nation in the fourth quarter. 21 points against Tennessee, for instance. 2 touchdowns in the waning moments against Georgia. Trailed Kentucky and came back against that.
Paul Spivey, number 24, has replaced Beck in the wishbone at fullback from the 27, first down. Bear Bryant has averaged using 66 players a game. So now for the first time, he's beginning to move in some of the reserve backs who are extremely good, as Luther Bradley made the stop at about the line.
Now, Notre Dame, thus far, is lining up in a normal defense, but they're bringing either Townsend or Bradley with the snap of the ball to fill the slot against the quarterback. It's a very hard man to pick up from the offensive blocking standpoint. The Tide will try to adjust to it.
Now it's 2nd down and 10 for Alabama. Notre Dame leads 6-0. Coming up to the 3-minute mark, first quarter, 2nd and 10 for the Tide. Rutledge. Oh, that was a sure tackle. He wasn't going to break from that grasp of Mike Townsend, the senior from Hamilton, Ohio.
After the tackle, you probably saw Gary slide a little bit. As Chris mentioned at the top of the show, we had a couple of downpours before the game. Very heavy, torrential rains indeed. And they don't have a squeegee here, which we can't understand, to, as quickly as possible, drain off and dry out the field. But still, even under the circumstances, the field looks most playable.
Polyturf, artificial surface. 3rd down and 5 now here at the Sugar Bowl. Notre Dame leading 6-0. Alabama with the ball. Rutledge, the rush put on hard by Bronner. 89, the freshman from Warren, Ohio. Take a look at him. 6'3", 218, and we have an isolation of that great first-year man.
Here he is, a freshman, as Chris mentioned, big, strong. He was tried to be blocked here by number 65, Brown, but he was so quick and so fast that he got around him and then was able to turn in and pressure Rutledge before he could get rid of the ball.
Alabama will punt for the 3rd time. Tim Rudnick is deep along with Bob Zanot, 7 and 34. Gantz putt, he had to get it off in a hurry, comes off the side of his foot. It didn't go straight forward as he wished. Ross Browner, number 89, of whom we were speaking, put the rush on the punter.
That was probably Gantz's poorest punt of the year, and it sets the Irish up in beautiful field position again.
This Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports, East, West, and the Hula Bowl via live satellite from Honolulu, Hawaii, featuring top college football players from around the country, including Heisman Trophy winner John Cappelletti from Penn State, Outland Trophy winner John Hicks of Ohio State. Don't miss the exciting football confrontation on ABC's Wide World at 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Gant kicked it only 23 yards. So the ball was snapped from the 49 of Alabama. Notre Dame leading 6-0. Give the handoff to Wayne Bullock of Newport News, Virginia, Woodrow Lowe, and Kabilas, number 72, defensively for the Tide. With 1 minute and 12 seconds remaining in the first quarter, if you just joined us, Notre Dame in a previous drive went 64 yards in 5 plays. Pennock scoring, Bullock rather, and the extra point was missed because of a high snap from center. Not enough time to get it down for the kicker to Thomas to hit it. So it's 2nd down and 8. Arndt Best. Kabilas, again, number 72. He's the senior right defensive tackle, lined up with Mike Dubose, number 54 of Alabama.
Bud, you've seen Notre Dame a couple of times this year. Have they reduced the amount of plays in which Pennock's been in motion in favor of Best? Because Art seems to be in motion more often.
I don't think they will as the game goes along. It depends where they are hash mark-wise and which man is going to be in motion. Usually it comes to the wide field, as you can see the clock running out on the first quarter.
Dimmerly to the far side, Pennock in motion on his 3rd and 7.
So, very important series there for the Crimson Tide. Notre Dame had excellent field position. If they could have moved it down, they could have put the game in reasonable control.
Senior Chuck Strickland, number 36, was right there to make the stop at the 46, which brings up a 4th down and 7. We'll have the punt in a moment. And here is the Notre Dame punt, the first play of the second quarter. As time has expired, Robin Carey takes the Doherty punt. So now it'll be Alabama that has yet to do anything that's impressed anyone. Steve Sylvester, number 71, made the tackle following a 27-yard punt. And look at those zero goose egg statistics.
And that's the second most prolific offensive team in the country rushing the football. Notre Dame totally dominating time of possession. The Alabama defense has held them to 7 points, but the ability of the Irish to keep the ball, 21 plays to 9, is something we'll have to change for Alabama.
Possession time, over 10 minutes for the Fighting Irish, a little more than 4 for Alabama, who now has the ball at its own 20. A pass, and Pugh bobbled it, but held on. And there's a first down, or how's it ruled? It's ruled as a completion of the initial first down.
Well, there was no question they were going to have to put the ball in the air, Bud. And I think we should emphasize that in the Alabama scheme of things, Pugh, who's listed as tight end, isn't really a tight end.
No, actually, they both, he and Wheeler have the same physical capabilities. Pugh is a 199-pounder who actually is more of a split end or wide receiver than he is a tight end.
And he's caught only 8 passes, however, as compared to 19 on the year for Wheeler. So Alabama now keeping it on the ground is Paul Spivey, number 24. The number 2 fullback brings it out to about the 45. And is that another Alabama first down? Let's see.
I didn't believe, Chris, it was possible to keep Alabama from making a first down in a 15 minutes of football. But in that first quarter, they did not make a single first down. Let's watch that play again. Browner at the top of your screen is the right end. This is a counter play. Browner gets a little bit too deep. He was thinking pass, and he did not see him coming back. And you've got to be in a little sharper angle to prevent that from happening.
Now Wheeler to the near side on a 1st and 10 from their own 44. Alabama trailing 6-0. Wilbur Jackson, the number 1 rusher. Number 80, stopped right in his tracks at the line by Potempa 40. Greg Collins, number 50. A moment ago, you heard from and saw Meadowlark Lemon of the Globetrotters. Also on our premiere Sunday, Wide World of Sports at 3:30 Eastern and 2:30 Central and 4 Pacific. From Oahu, Hawaii will be top surfers competing in the Hawaiian Masters Surfing Championship. That's this coming Sunday. We'll tell you more about a great week of sports on ABC. The greatest of college football games right here tonight in New Orleans, Louisiana. And after one period of play, Notre Dame leads by a score of 6-0 as they went 64 yards in 6 plays at 3 minutes and 19 seconds remaining in the first quarter. We're in the first minute and a half of the second quarter. Let's take this pause. Notre Dame cheerleaders, and they are the first to cheer here in the first quarter. After about 12 minutes, Notre Dame scored. They missed the extra point on a bad snap. They lead 6-0, but right now with 13:32 to go in the second quarter, Alabama has a 2nd and 9 from their own 44. Wide is number 26, Randy Billingsley. Billingsley penetrates Notre Dame territory for the first time. 16 yards, first down.
Now you're seeing the real Alabama team. As Bud pointed out earlier, they've got backs coming out of their ears. Spivey, who is behind Beck. Beck is a senior, and he always laughingly says, well, the coach starts me because I'm slow and not really the best, and he wants to give me a shot and get me out quickly so the real players can get in.
All right, now with the ball at the 39 of Notre Dame. To the far side, number 82 at the top of your screen. That's Wayne Wheeler. Jackson, Spivey, and Billingsley behind the quarterback, Rutledge. First down. And carrying Paul Spivey, number 24. 13 minutes, 16 seconds remaining in the first half. Notre Dame leads Alabama 6-0.
Notre Dame varying the defense from 6 men in the line of scrimmage with a middle linebacker to a 5-2 front, but they're bringing the safety to the side the quarterback starts. If he starts right, it's Townsend coming. If he starts left, it's Bradley coming. Alabama is doing a much better job of picking up the various stunts of the Notre Dame team on this drive.
Wheeler again at the top of your screen on 2nd and 7. That's Billingsley. Billingsley inside the Notre Dame 30, then out of bounds. Forced out by number 50, Greg Collins. Making a nice block was Chrome on the previous play, a good play. John Rogers, the strong guard, blocked beautifully for the runner.
And I believe that Notre Dame has been a little bit wide field conscious thus far. And on this drive, Alabama is coming to the narrow part of the field, which is to the bottom of your screen. That change of pace of the power sweep is excellent against the defense that is normally looking at an option.
That's Paul Bear Bryant, 60 years old. At Alabama, 140 victories overall as a head coach, 231 behind the late Amos Alonzo Stagg and Pop Warner. 1st and 10 now from the 29. Rutledge to Jackson. Billingsley blocking. Jackson is on the move. He's up to 15. Sliding.
But I don't think you'll find a better blocking back in college football than Randy Billingsley.
He's got the perfect size, 5'10", 190, which means that he's low and is in the hitting position when he's running. Jackson carried the ball only 95 times in the entire season for Alabama, which to me is very interesting when you think that Cappelletti carries it about 28 times per game.
All right, 7 plays, 5 first downs in this drive that began at the Alabama 20. They have now reached the Notre Dame 17 with another first down. Rutledge. Ooh, look out, that ball is loose. And who has it? Notre Dame. Jim Stock over the ball for the Fighting Irish. Browner is there as well, number 89. There he is, number 48 from Barberton, Ohio, sophomore Jim Stock. So the first turnover.
When you're going down the line of scrimmage with your quarterback, everybody's firing out and the backs are all penetrating and you fumble the ball. There's just no way you're normally going to get the ball recovered because the whole defense is closing on the ball and all your people are running away from it.
So a drive that began at the 20 now misfires. So it'll be the Fighting Irish leading 6-0 that have it 1st and 10 at their own 36. 11 minutes, 45 seconds to go. Pennock 44 in motion. Clements. Dave Casper, the big tight end. Look at him ramble. A marker is down. Casper going from his own 36 down to about the 46. We may have a clip call coming up.
You called it just right, Chris. The wide receiver, I don't know for certain who it was. I think it was Pennock, perhaps, coming back downfield.
That was a gain of 18.
Steve Sylvester had put a superb block on to open the hole for Casper that sprung him loose.
Very well timed, as you pointed out, Howard. The corner man had come up and was trying to get into the play.
So from the spot of the infraction, the ball comes back to the 39. Just a reminder that the rookies will return 1 week from today at its usual time right here on ABC.
I'll tell you, it's a different kind of Monday night football for me. This college game is swift. So many more plays.
So here we go, replaying the first down. The spot is the 39. Notre Dame leading 6-0. Pennock. Woodrow Lowe, number 47, one of the 3 fine Alabama linebackers, joined by Mike Dubose on the tackle at approximately the 43. A gain of 4.
And I'm very surprised at how sure the footing has been thus far. As we've mentioned, we had heavy showers. The field is drained well, and neither team seems to be having any trouble getting traction.
Second down and about 3. That was Paul Bear Bryant, the coach of Alabama, best in motion. Clements putting it right in the midsection of Wayne Bullock, who scored the Notre Dame touchdown in the first quarter.
Very close, but a little short, Chris.
Okay, third down. There you see the Accu markers on the far side of the field. Dick Turpin, number 66, a sophomore, made the tackle. Conversions, Notre Dame 2 of 5 on third down, Alabama 0.
That's a misleading statistic, that third down conversions. Don't you agree, Bud? We can develop it later.
Yes, if you make the first down and second down, you don't get credit according to those stats.
And now from about the 46, it's third down. And Bullock, loose ball. And Alabama gets it at their own 49. Alabama gets the ball. Mike Washington, number 34, recovers for the Tide.
And this is the first time that Alabama has gotten the ball in the exchange in favorable field position.
10 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the first half. Notre Dame leading the Tide 6-0. Back again at the Sugar Bowl, New Orleans, Louisiana, on New Year's Eve. A carnival atmosphere out here. The weather has improved. It is not raining now as Johnny Sharpless, 16, is in the Alabama lineup. They just recovered a Notre Dame fumble. They have it at their own 48. First down with Notre Dame leading 6-0. 10-10 to go first half. Spivey carrying on the play. Or a couple of yards.
Well, you're looking at the countdown in the second quarter right now, and Bud, one of the key things, if not the key thing, that gives college football an extra dimension is the running quarterback. Oddly, we haven't seen Gary Rutledge spring loose tonight, and apart from that very play at the top of the game, Tommy Clements hasn't been carrying either.
Well, thus far, Alabama has not had a chance to run their quarterback because of that safety man coming up to play him, as I spoke about earlier.
All right, 3 new backs, Spivey, Shelby, and Stock. Same quarterback. A catch, number 32, Mike Stock of Elkhart, Indiana, which is just down the road from South Bend, which is the home, of course, of the Golden Dome and Notre Dame.
And therein lies the story. Stockstad is a very close friend of Era Parseghian, and in fact, Stockstad flew some Notre Dame people down here to scout Alabama. Yet the lad himself attends Alabama.
Quite a player. Sophomore. 5'10", 179, and tougher than nails. And that's what we mean. Mike Stock carrying for Coach Paul Bear Bryant's #1 ranked Alabama, and they are meeting Notre Dame tonight for the national championship. The MacArthur Bowl will be awarded to the winner of this game.
If you watch the blocking of the Alabama line, you'll see how much better they're reading the Notre Dame stunts at this point in the game.
We have 8:44 to go in the first half. Rutledge handing off to a spinning Paul Spivey. Spivey moves it forward to about the 23. And it's an Alabama first down as Drew Mahalik, number 45, made the stop.
It's one of the advantages of the options that you get from the wishbone is that the linebacker here, number 50, Collins, is thinking that Rutledge has got the ball. By the time he notices that the ball has been given to the fullback, he's a little bit off balance.
On the 23, first down, Rutledge on a keeper. Rutledge fakes. His guard was out there trying to help, and he brings it near the 10. Another Alabama first down.
There you go. There's your quarterback running the ball, and Bud, you got it exactly right. Now they can't spring Bradley in there, and they can't spring Townsend in there the way they were because Rutledge is reading those defenses, and now he's going to be able to move the ball himself.
And the on-halfback that is moving downfield now to pick up that safety man. If the quarterback gets some run to run, we'll see Todd in the game. He's a stronger runner than Rutledge.
Incidentally, you see number 10 coming in on each play to bring the message. That is Danny Ridgway. He gets a lot of yardage that is not officially in the game. And there's Mike Stock on a first down play, making it right near the 5. Getting up second and about 3. Browner on the tackle. Here comes Ridgway now into the Alabama huddle. If you look at the Notre Dame defense, a choir-like huddle. The signal's being called by Greg Collins, the captain-elect for next year.
By the way, Mike Stock was a high school quarterback, and he'll occasionally throw the halfback pass.
Now, we have Wilbur Jackson back in the lineup along with Spivey and Randy Billingsley. Billingsley, touchdown, Alabama, tie ball game for the national championship. 52 yards, 7 plays, a powerful drive, good blocking by the Crimson Tide. They're in, and now they can take the lead as Notre Dame failed on the snap to get it to the holder. Thus, their 6 points. Bill Davis now, one of 3 members of the Davis family who have kicked for Alabama over the years, will try to put Alabama on top. It's up. It's an Alabama lead, 7-6. Just as we expected, a thrilling game for the national championship.
And the power sweep.
With 7.5 minutes remaining in the first half, Alabama has just gone 52 yards in 7 plays. Billingsley scoring. And with the extra point, they now lead Notre Dame 7-6. Gant will kick off to either Dominic or Al Hunter. Al Hunter at the 15 for Notre Dame at the 30. At the 35, 40. Midfield, look at him go. 94 yards and a Notre Dame touchdown.
Oh, have we got a football game?
Notre Dame is not supposed to have fast back.
No.
And the Notre Dame team is coming onto the field. That'll be a little penalty.
I don't think...
I think I better correct myself there, Bud. In all the excitement, college football, it is not a penalty.
By next year, I think it will be, Chris.
I think it should be.
I agree with you.
The
The Rules Committee will take it up.
Say that again. I was anticipating a year ahead.
You've always been forehand.
Oh, yes.
Oh, boy, did they open up that hole with that wedge, Bud.
Beautiful blocking.
No contact.
Those are things
On
that
that play.
you just don't expect will happen to a great football team like Alabama.
And
Punt
now,
returns, kickoff returns.
now will they go for 2?
Yes.
Al Hunter, a freshman from Greenville, North Carolina. And there's intense Era Parseghian, who this year is the 1974 chairman of the National Multiple Sclerosis Hope Chest Campaign. He knows all about it. 3 members of his immediate family, including his sister, have been afflicted by MS. Era says they need my help, and the National Multiple Sclerosis Society needs your help.
And there is daughter, too. He's an extraordinary man. He really is, as a human being. He's a man of intellect and versatility. Chris has already noted, has embedded himself deeply into the study of the disease of multiple sclerosis.
There's that song, symbolic of the Golden Dome and victory.
You can say what you want. It gets you all the time.
Chill up your spine.
Notre Dame took a timeout wisely to get things settled down before they try for two, as Al Hunter has just gone 94 yards with the kick following an Alabama touchdown. Wow, what a game. Love it. 12-7. We hope you're enjoying it, and I hope this is really setting you up for an enjoyable 1974.
In this situation, normally teams go with some sort of an inside fake with a quarterback rolling out to throw the ball, and I recall very vividly playing against the University of Texas one time where we were thinking that was what was going to come, and Darrell Royal crossed us up by just running the straight-ahead fullback wedge over the middle, and he almost ran through the end zone.
The 94-yard return broke Monk Simon's record here in the Sugar Bowl in 1935 of 90 yards, Monk being on the Sugar Bowl committee. As Notre Dame now goes for two, they lead 12-7. Here's the try. Clements, wide open in the end zone. Dimmerly.
I don't know how that Dimmerly does it, but he does it.
Well, I don't know how Rhodes missed the ball either. Rhodes was back in pretty good position. Watch the touchdown again on the kickoff. Hunter with the ball now, and keep your eye on the left side of your screen. Don't watch the ball carrier. Watch the left side of your screen. Look at those blocks. I don't think he was touched, and there's a beautiful ball carrier and a man with exceptional speed. That's one of the differences between this year's Notre Dame team, the speed of their backs.
Howard, in 13 seconds, we've just had 15 points scored.
That's right. And this is the extra point attempt again. The inside fake, as we mentioned earlier, with the quarterback dropping back to throw. And watch Rhodes here. He almost has it, but as Howard pointed out, Clements hung it up there just high enough to score the 2 points.
And as we expected, they're playing like they're playing for the national championship. Two great teams, undefeated, untied. Calvin Culliver, who can fly, number 33, and Shelby, 30, on the near side, can move for Alabama, awaiting Cliff Brown's kick. There's Brown, number 8.
One thing I'm sure of is before this game's over, Alabama will have more points on the board.
No question about it. And Calvin Culliver, whom Chris mentioned, broke one, the longest run this year for Alabama. The kickoff, Chris.
All right, there it is, coming down very slowly to Shelby. Shelby at the 3, 5, 10, moving out to the 15 now with blockers ahead. He's up to the 30, and he is tripped up at about the 31 or 2. A 28-yard return as Parker of Notre Dame, a defensive halfback, was in on the play on kick coverage. So now with 7 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the first half, Notre Dame has regained the lead, and with a 2-point conversion lead, 14-7.
And that 2 points is very, very significant. They've been able to not make it at 1 point from the high snap on the first touchdown. Looking forward to the fourth quarter, it could have been the most significant play of the game.
This Saturday, don't miss the season's premiere of the popular Professional Bowlers Tour, the $100,000 Midas Open from San Francisco, 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central, 5 Pacific. Alabama trying to move the ball now. Carrying was Culliver on a 1st and 10 from the 30. Showing you their depth, that is the 3rd string, and he is a freshman at fullback.
He is a great, great young prospect, one of the most sought-after ones in the country, and as I mentioned, had the longest touchdown run this year for the Tide. Let's take a look at Collins, Bud.
Number 50, the great outside linebacker for Notre Dame, just slipping the block, moving in. He didn't quite have his feet in front of the momentum of the ball carrier, made the tackle as he fell forward.
On a 2nd and 7, number 32, Mike Stock, upended across the 35. The snap came from the 33, as you see the clock running, 6:26 now, remaining in the first half. If you just joined us, Notre Dame scored first on a 64-yard drive. They missed the extra point. Alabama came back and went 80 yards to score. Correction, went 52 yards to score. They fumbled on their 80-yard attempt, and Notre Dame recovered, but they got the ball on a Notre Dame fumble to go 52 to get their 7 points. And then on the ensuing kickoff, Al Hunter went 94 yards to put Notre Dame on top. 3rd down and 5. That's Willie Shelby. Tim Rudnick staying right with him, number 7. From Chicago, Illinois, another senior. And you see it brings up 4th down and a little more than 2 for Alabama. That was the 8th Alabama player to carry the ball.
You mentioned Tim Rudnick. He's a smallish one. Came in effect, as a free agent. Tried out for the team, amazed everybody. Gutsy little guy.
Fourth down. Greg Gant punting for Alabama. We have Simon and Rudnick deep. And it goes into the end zone. Touchback. 62 yards. So it'll come out to the 20, and Notre Dame with a 14-7 lead. 5:15 remaining in the first half. Yeah, there's a man that's coached a lot of quarterbacks like Joe, the man with the Tyrolean houndstooth hat.
And Alabama did not make a single first down in the first quarter. They've already made 9 in this quarter.
Bear Bryant's team now in defense as Notre Dame has it following an Alabama punt at their own 20. 1st and 10. They lead 14-7. Pennick in motion. Bullock the only setback, and he carries the ball, and very effectively, for about 8 or 9 yards. Wayne Bullock, who scored 10 touchdowns this year. He scored the first Notre Dame touchdown tonight.
Getting back to the Bear. 15 straight times he has brought Bama to a bowl game, and yet he doesn't have a victory in his last 6. This he wants desperate. He's got 5 losses and a tie in the last 6, says this is the most important college game ever played for the people of the South.
All right, Pennick on a 2nd and 2. Stop. Hit hard first by Woodrow Lowe, then number 18, David McMakin. And Bears' last victory in a bowl game was right here at the Sugar Bowl in 1967.
Right, against Nebraska. Now let's watch Woody Lowe, 47. As you said earlier, Bud, outside of an Oklahoma linebacker, perhaps the swiftest you've seen. All alone and leading the Alabamians in tackles. He's been involved in 134 tackles this year, 86 unassisted.
McMakin was hurt on that last play in tackling. Alan Pizzatola of Birmingham, Alabama, takes his place, number 4. 3rd and 2.
Beautiful defense.
4th down and 1.5.
A very big play for the tie. Woody Lowe did it.
Howard mentioned those statistics of Lowe, and this is partly because they shield him from anybody being able to get to him. You saw him move outside on the stunt very, very quickly, so no one could get to him quickly, and he's incredibly strong in addition to that quickness. 2 plays in a row that the Tide stopped them after they had 2nd down and only 2 to go.
His strength was the point there. That's like a tackle that Kenny Houston made on Walt Garrison in a critical game between Dallas and Washington early in the pro football season.
There we look at Brian Doherty, who kicks effectively. Very few big returns on him when he punts. Number 5 is Duffy Bowles, that just looks at the ball.
That's one of those punts, Chris, that make you shake your head when you're coaching, because it was a low-line drive, and it fell surprisingly short and then took the long roll, 54 yards.
Wow. And that puts Alabama inside their own 20 at approximately the 18.
And we've got Richard Todd coming in at quarterback, Chris.
Yes, he's a very fine one. He's played a lot for Alabama. He's from Mobile. He's their number 2 rusher with 604 yards. He's thrown 4 touchdowns, and he's a sophomore. And Bear does not hesitate to use him.
He thinks he's one of the more gifted athletes he's ever coached.
There he is, number 14, Todd. Hughes getting his 2nd pass of the night out at about the 30. 13 yards, 1st down.
To amplify Bud's comment on Richard Todd, whom you've just seen throw for the first time, and he went back to set and throw, as you saw. The Big Bear says that he gets the ball away even more quickly. His release is even swifter than Joe Willie Namath's.
Ridgway has brought in the play.
That I would have to debate the Bear about.
I
don't know
would
if
too.
anybody can do it.
All right, here's Todd. 1st and 10 from the 31. This is why he's the number 2 rusher. Oh, he puts his head down and got a little more.
And that was sweep all the way, but you saw Todd get the ball up to make those secondary people wonder, might I not throw it? Let's watch Luther Bradley, the great freshman defensive back for Notre Dame. You can see how close he's playing to the line of scrimmage here. Moved up as a monster man. He's just swinging to the outside because he thinks it still might be a pass at this point. But with line, Jackson makes a beautiful block on him, and Todd moves it forward for the 1st down.
All right, now from the 43 after that 12-yard gain, Alabama's Billingsley up near the midfield stripe. 2:33 left in the first half. All right, 2nd down and 3 from midfield. Todd pitching back to Jackson. Jackson has a 1st down and more for Alabama. Jackson, a touchdown-saving tackle by Drew Mahalik, number 45 from Birmingham, Michigan, on Wilbur Jackson. the Alabama #1 rusher, who rambled 24 yards.
Alabama has only one timeout remaining, and I was beginning to wonder whether that wasn't too much ground for a wishbone team to pick up. If you want to give them 6 or 7 yards of play, it's very simple usually to stop them, but that superb execution of the triple option there.
All right, now Wheeler is split to the near side at the bottom of your screen. Todd handing off to Jackson. Oh, the variety of the wishbone, and carrying him outside was number 50 of Notre Dame, Greg Collins, the junior from Troy, Michigan.
Failed to get out of bounds, though, as he would have liked to kill that clock.
Yeah, that's what they're fighting now. Collins, incidentally, is playing an outstanding game.
He's been outstanding all season long. Big, 6'3", 220 pounds. He's got the physique you're looking for in a linebacker.
Second down. They need 4 yards at the Notre Dame 23 with 1:46 to go, first half. Third down coming up as Wilbur Jackson carried.
Looked to me that time, Chris, that Notre Dame was keying Jackson, assuming that he would be given the ball because of the tremendous rushing that he's done all year, averaging 7.9 yards per carry for the season.
Clock is running. Only one timeout left here in the first half for Alabama. Ridgway, number 10, has just brought the play in. Clock keeps running. 1:23 to go. First half, Notre Dame leading 14-7. Sugar Bowl. Third down and 4. Saw how wet the field is as Drew Mihalik again in on Wilbur Jackson, who tried to get outside on the pass.
I think it was Stock that gave him a very good rush, and the ball was thrown a little bit behind him, and he hit him perfectly. He could have picked up the first down.
All right, Bill Davis, who's kicked 8 of 14 field goals, is coming in now. He's from Pompano Beach. The Davis family have kicked a total of 466 points over the years for Alabama. Brothers Steve and Tim. This is Bill. His kick. 33-yarder. Correction. Make it about 38 yards. And Alabama has put 3 points on the board to pull within 4 of Notre Dame with 39 seconds remaining first half. It is now 14-10 in the game for the MacArthur Bowl, the National Championship, the Sugar Bowl, and all the marbles.
Let's watch kicker Davis, number 1. His head down. He looks very, very carefully at the ball. Now he looks up after it's well on its way. And now he sees it go through, and he's signaling, it's good, baby, 3 points.
Well, the highlights of his senior year, no doubt. He's
highlight of any year. Excuse me.
Gary Diminick is deep along with Al Hunter. Last time Al fielded the ball, he went 94 yards to score for Notre Dame.
I would think, Chris, that they'd squib it or onside it or something here with as little time as there is remaining. But he boomed it away.
That's Gary Diminick, the leading kick return man in the history of Notre Dame. He's a senior, and he brings it out to about the 31.
I tell you, they really opened those lanes with that weight. Bud, for a minute, he looked like he could break it.
It's the hardest play in football to time, a kickoff return, because you never know how deep the kick is going to be, how long it's going to be in the air. And if anybody blocks more than about 3 or 4 yards ahead of the ball carrier, the defensive man will get off that block, get up, and get back to the play.
Steve Ford made the tackle. Notre Dame with 2 timeouts. 31 seconds left on the clock first half as they lead 14-10. First down at about their own 30. Clements, number 2. A solo. Had a couple of linemen out there with him, but he brings it smartly across the 45 for Notre Dame first down. 16 yards. Tyrone King on the tackle. Clock stopped.
And there's plenty of time for them to put 3 points on the board if they can pick up another 15 or 20 yards.
Well, this is the highlight game of our 1973 season. Of course, the Hula Bowl is coming Saturday from Honolulu, and also on Saturday and Sunday from fabled Pebble Beach. Gentlemen, it'll be another edition of Bing's Pro-Am Championship, and we'll be there along with Bing doing commentary.
It's a great event with all of the top pros, and then the amateurs, Jack Lemmon, Clint Eastwood, James Garner, people that you like to see playing golf because they play a little more like you and I do.
And the Hula Bowl and Bing Crosby preceded by the 13th year, the premiere of the popular Professional Bowlers Tour. All this on ABC. Now from the 46. It's a first down, Notre Dame. 22 seconds left first half. Hunter, number 25, is in the lineup. Down the middle. Intended for Demerly.
And Ricky Davis came up. Let's watch Demerly going down the field. On this play, Davis is really just playing center fielder. Demerly, number 85, is swinging on the post pattern. He was open, and then you saw Davis come up and time it perfectly to knock the ball down.
The first incompletion by Clements.
Not bad.
4 of 5.
53% for the season. Let's watch Davis. Here he is, just an outfielder coming up. He thought he might make the interception, but Demerly did a good job of putting his body between him and the ball.
McMakin is back in defensively as Clements moves out of the pocket. Goes it on his own. Hit hard by Tyrone King on the far side of the field, stopping the clock with 7 seconds to go. Each team with a timeout.
People are always talking about size and strength on the part of Notre Dame, which they certainly have, but the quickness of Clements is what makes him a superior quarterback.
Well, with 7 seconds left, he's got to throw the sideline hitch, it seems to me, get him out of bounds and get close enough to attempt the field goal. Bobby Thomas is a fine field goal kicker, soccer style.
If they complete one down the field, though, Howard, they got a timeout left, so they might go for wherever they think the open spot is.
Alabama 43 is the spot. 1st and 10, Notre Dame. Clements. Out goes Pugh. Out goes Demerly.
You called it perfectly.
Yeah, he tried it.
That was Demerly. 1 second. Clock stopped. A flag on the play.
Demerly breaking on the pattern as you saw the swing man go deep. And that's Woodrow Lowe coming in, and the official said he hit him before the ball got there. That's a penalty, however, that will not hurt Alabama to any great degree. 1 second remaining, which means one more play unless we get another penalty called on Alabama. However, the penalty moves the ball into possible field goal range.
And Bob Thomas, number 98, who's hit on 9 of 18, his longest was 47 yards. This is one of 48 yards on an angle. 10 yards of the end zone in college football. It's up. It's no good. So, both undefeated and untied, powerful teams representing the best of America's college teams, university and college. Notre Dame and Alabama go to the dressing room with the Fighting Irish leading Alabama by a score of 14-10 with a tremendous Sugar Bowl halftime about to begin. Let's take this break. The senior, former starting quarterback for Notre Dame, will kick from left to right. The wind has calmed somewhat as we have Culliver, 33, and Shelby, 30 deep for Alabama. There you see number 8, Cliff Brown, number 20. 28 for Notre Dame, Gary Diminick, giving the signal now to Brown. His toe hits the ball. It's up in the air. And it's Calvin Culliver fielding it, having trouble holding it. Gets it at the 2, comes out to the 5. Tough break for Alabama as they only bring it out to the 11-yard line. From there, they'll try to work it as they trail 14-10. They'll go with these men up front. Wheeler and Pugh at the end, Sprayberry and Brown the tackles, Ruffin and Rogers the guards. Kroom, Sylvester Kroom is the center.
In the backfield is Rutledge, Jackson, Billingsley, and Beck. First down is the key play for both of these teams because they like to run the ball. Alabama's average on first down plays in the first quarter was 0. Their average in the second quarter was 10 yards on each first down snap.
There's the referee, Gene Calhoun. A penalty being stepped off here, a clipping penalty against Alabama, half the distance to the goal line. So that puts them even deeper in their own territory, back in the vicinity of the hash mark, the 8. The backfield, 80 Jackson, 24 Spivey, 26 Billingsley. 1st and 10, first snap of the second half. Rutledge coming out across the 15 for Alabama. Townsend helping to bring him down, and it's a 10-yard move by the quarterback.
And a beautiful read on the part of Rutledge. He saw the closing on the fullback back, kept the ball, and as the corner man, Barnett, played deep, he simply kept it, and that's what they're looking for on first down, that 8-yard gain.
Second down and a little less than 3 for the Crimson Tide. Trailing 14-10, Wayne Wheeler set away. Stay on the ground, and it's Spivey that was trying to challenge the Notre Dame defense on a second down play. Kevin Nosbush of Milwaukee, number 60, underneath to make the stop right at the line, so it'll be 3rd and about 3 from the 15th.
Obvious statement of how important it is for Alabama to pick up 3 yards or more on this play. They'll have given the Irish great field position if they fail to make it.
Wheeler to the near side. It's Alabama in the crimson jerseys. Rutledge to Jackson. And Jackson powers his way for the first down as Townsend forces him out of bounds. Townsend, number 27, and there is Jackson, number 80 from Ozark, Alabama. Senior, scored 8 touchdowns this year.
This is a power sweep being run by Alabama. You can see Pugh throwing the first block on Browner. He got to him fairly well, but Browner fought off that block, and then he was pinned as Billingsley went in on the second block, but he knocked down much of the interference, as you could see.
That was Alabama's first third down conversion of the ball game, with a 1st and 10 at the 23. A big hole opened up for Randy Billingsley, who scored the only Alabama touchdown at halfway point of the second quarter. And this time, Greg Collins and Rudnick stop him, following a 10-yard gain, another first down. And there's Coach Paul Bear Bryant. His 22nd bowl game. His last victory in a bowl game was 1967 here in the Sugar Bowl against Nebraska, 34-6.
And he's not had a losing streak like that, I don't believe, in his career.
And he doesn't like it. On the 33, first down. Alabama with the ball. And there's the variety of the wishbone. Jackson.
When you're waiting for the options, they went after with the power of the inside belly play.
It's awesome, isn't it?
Well, they've averaged a little over 9 yards on their first down snaps, but we've got some kind of a discussion, and don't know who's going to get penalized here, but we'll know in a moment.
In the white cap, Gene Calhoun, the referee from Madison, Wisconsin, the umpire Harvey Hardy from Lakeland, Florida, lineman Jim Langhurst.
And we had a personal foul by the Fighting Irish. It must have been piling on after the tackle, and couldn't really see it myself.
There's so much at stake in this game. It's for the national championship.
This is Wheeler going downfield. He now tries to make the block, and you could see Rudnick taking that little swing at him there, and Wheeler showed great reflexes, Howard. You've seen a lot of boxing.
Yeah, he got out of the way. I told you earlier, Rudnick's a smallish fella who's a gutsy guy, and let's take another look at it. You got to be gutsy to do that, try to do that to Wheeler, because Wheeler's a lot bigger.
Wheeler trying to get blocking position.
You don't hit a man when he's down.
No.
I'll tell you, it's pretty good judgment to not hit that face guard. That hurts your fist.
Now, the snap will come from the Notre Dame 42, a very costly penalty. Rutledge, Wheeler going for his first catch, and Rudnick knocks it away and nearly pulled it out of the air. What a battle they're having. Rudnick, number 7, and Wheeler, who has yet to catch a pass tonight, number 82.
You saw the two men sort of having their little trials in the previous play, and Rudnick is right with him here and reached very high for the ball, almost made the interception, a little more wide field than I think he might have.
Rudnick is, in his own way, is an inspiration to a lot of young people, as I mentioned earlier. He wasn't recruited by Notre Dame for football. Went there, just tried out for the team.
Second down and 10 now for Alabama, trailing 14-10. Getting to the 40 is Paul Spivey of Montgomery, number 24, senior fullback.
One of the things when you're coaching a running team like the Wishbone that you worry about as a coach, the best passing down is first down, because you know they expect you to run it, but if you get the incompletion, you come in there 2nd and 10, which relaxes the defense.
Now, Bud, here's a 3rd down and 7 for Alabama at the Notre Dame 39. Notre Dame leading 14-10. Beautifully led to Jackson. Jackson tackled by Greg Collins. Jackson is inside the Notre Dame 20. 21 yards. Alabama at the Notre Dame 18, first down.
Collins is the outside linebacker across the field. He took a step laterally to go for the first fake. It was simply a toss over the head of the end, and he came all the way across the field and ran down Jackson, who's one of the fastest men that Alabama has. Great move by Collins.
That's one of the most beautiful lead passes in the flat I've ever seen. First and 10. Jackson going opposite. Browner chasing him. Ooh. And Reggie Barnett, number 14 of Notre Dame, comes up to make sure. Oh, they're hitting hard.
Everything that you thought about the first day of fall practice is at stake here in the last 30 minutes. Every team in the country dreams of being here. Notre Dame and Alabama are here, and there's nothing to save today.
Undefeated, untied. They've had only one common opponent. That was Miami. Alabama beating them earlier in the season, 43-13. Notre Dame as a closer shut out Miami, 44-0. It's 14-10. Notre Dame on defense. They're in the lead. Alabama with a 2nd and 10. Rutledge in the flat. Wheeler catches his first pass. Rednick forces him out at the 5. First and goal.
They've been able to get 2 men on him most of the time, but this time it's a one-on-one situation. And when it's one-on-one, it's awfully tough. Rednick beaten on the out pattern by Wheeler, and I'm sure that Wheeler was thinking, if that guy's going to swing at me like that, I got to run a good enough pattern to get open.
It was long overdue in a one-on-one situation with the speed and size advantage that Wheeler has. He figures to be able to get away from Rudnick.
And now the 10th play of this drive that started at the 8. Alabama regains the lead on Wilbur Jackson's touchdown. 16-14, and Jackson hurt himself.
I really think he's all right, Chris. He got bruised in the back a little bit, but he's going to shake it off. He just wasn't going to be denied on that one. He lit the afterburner as he saw that opening.
Now it's a 2-point lead by Alabama. Will they try for the kick conversion?
Yes, sir, I would assume so.
I think so, to protect against, make sure of it and protect against the field goal by Thomas of Notre Dame, perhaps.
A 93-yard drive by powerful Alabama. And Bill Davis makes it 17-14. Alabama regaining the lead. Notre Dame led first. Alabama came back, and it's been seesaw, and rightfully so, from 2 of the finest teams in the country for the MacArthur Bowl, a national title. We'll be back. The muscular cheerleader of Alabama, and not so muscular. There she is.
I don't want to drop her, Chris.
No, Dresden. 93 yards, 10 plays. Alabama with the extra point now leads Notre Dame 17-14. Deminick and Hunter await the Davis kick. This is Deminick coming out to the 5, the 10. Hunter blocking. Deminick down at about the 22, and a marker is on the artificial turf. 24-yard return.
Notice how that kickoff team sealed off that wedge this time, sealed off the hole.
The kick was quite a bit longer, and as we were talking in the first half, Hard. Very difficult to time those blocks, and that kick was in the air long enough that they got penetration deeper down the field.
Dave Casper talking to the referee as a penalty against Notre Dame, a clip.
Now Notre Dame is in the very situation Alabama was in just a few moments ago. Alabama had the offensive wherewithal to go completely downfield from their own 6 to drive for the lead touchdown. Let's see what Notre Dame can do under similar conditions. Putting this game in perspective, Alabama took the whole first quarter trying in effect to study the Notre Dame defenses. They learned something because ever since they've been dominant offensively.
Al Hunter is in the backfield, so is Pennick, number 44 from the 8. Alabama's defense is fighting. Look at them. Are they fired up? Number 63, Greg Montgomery on the tackle. Pennick shaken up on the play.
At halftime, Duffy Doherty pointed out that he felt it was essential for Notre Dame to throw the ball more than they had after their first touchdown drive. And I'm certain that Ara Parseghian is well aware of that, and that we'll see the Irish go with some play-action passes soon.
In the backfield, 25 Hunter, 30 Bullock, 23 Best, second down at 12 at about the 6. Hunter in motion. Clements. Another loss of a yard, third down and 13 coming up. Mike Washington catching the quarterback Clements.
You really always are debating whether you ought to throw it when you're inside your own 10-yard line, but if you have a quarterback of experience who's not going to risk a pass that's dangerous, if he's going to throw it out of bounds or just eat the ball, it's as safe a play as anything you can run, because anytime you exchange the ball, you may fumble it. The quarterback's got it all the way on a pass.
Third and 13, Demerly to the far side of the field. Bullock is a lone setback. Hunter in motion. In his own end zone, Clements gets out. Back comes out to the 10 or 11. Mike Dubose, number 54. So now it's going to be a 4th down and 8. There's Dubose. Watch him.
Watch him break in. He's blocked hard. I think the block made by Casper. Then he moves to the outside. Clements was almost trapped for a safety. I think it was Raines that got in there. Clements juked him and ducked out to avoid the safety. And we now have Notre Dame in punt formation.
Bama fans stomping in this stadium here, Tulane Stadium. The punt by Doherty out of the end zone. Up high in the air, Willie Shelby looks at it, loses it for a while. Did he get it back? He got it back at the 48. Back at the 47 of Notre Dame.
That's a lot better field position. Thus far, Alabama's had the ball on their own 11, 17, 27, 20, 31, 7. But this time they've got it in Irish territory on the exchange.
And Notre Dame must now prove it can stop this Alabama attack. It hasn't been able to since the second quarter began.
Richard Todd is the Alabama quarterback, number 14 from the Notre Dame 48. There he goes. Look at that boy go.
Oh, but look at that team block. That's the marvelous thing.
He's the number 2 rusher on the team.
They're just surgical in the way they pick out the blockers that they're supposed to take, adjust to the stunts. It took them a quarter to do it. They did not make a first down in the first quarter, but as Howard said, since that time, it's been a surgical touch.
17-yard game. We just received word that Eric Pennick, the fine back of Notre Dame, has a bruised foot. They're not sure if he'll be back in the lineup. First and 10 at the 31 of Notre Dame. Alabama, Richard Todd.
And that was Mike Townsend coming up. Nobody got to him that time.
Tripping him up. Collins, number 50. In comes the play. Watch at the right of your screen. Whoops, number 10. Ridgway came in.
First down yardage of Alabama has picked up considerably since it was 0 in the first quarter.
It's second down and 7 coming up to the 8-minute mark of the third quarter. Alabama leading 17-14 for the national title. Spivey, 24. Couple of yards. Gary Potempa. And Mike Fanning, number 88 of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Defensive left tackle. Now in the lineup, Mike Stock. Out comes Wilbur Jackson, number 80.
There's nobody ever running tired on that Alabama team. They alternate 3 backfields.
They have so many players that it's clear why they explode usually in the fourth quarter.
2 to the far side. 3rd and 6 from the 27. Richard Todd. Both down as Billingsley carried. Hit hard by Mike Townsend and Sherman Smith, number 55.
They had that play read perfectly.
Mike Townsend, the strong safety. You can see him reading here. And this is the way to play against this type of offense where they're sliding down the line of scrimmage. Townsend, being sure the fullback didn't have it. Then moving up. No one got to him that time. He was not coming up very rapidly, but he met it at the line of scrimmage.
Now a 45-yard attempt by Davis is to the far side and no good. So the score remains Alabama 17, Notre Dame 14, as we have hit the 6-minute and 49-second mark of the third quarter of the Sugar Bowl Classic on New Year's Eve. Notre Dame, 5 times national champion in their long, storied, exciting history. 43, 46, 47, 49, shared it with Michigan State in 66. They trail now for the national championship, 14-17. Third quarter, Clements from the 20 to Bullock. Bullock for about 5 yards.
I think, Bud, we must make the point that both of these have shown character when they had to. Notre Dame had to stop Alabama on that last Alabama drive. Otherwise, the game could have gotten hopelessly out of hand. They were able to do it. Notre Dame had to come back. When Alabama first took over the lead, they did it with a kickoff return for a touchdown. But Alabama, on its part, has come back twice, too, to take the lead.
Second down and 6 now from the 24. Slicing through Art Best.
And he was carrying the ball that time, as all the Notre Dame backs do. Very low, weight forward, where it's difficult to put a shoulder in them and stop them without picking up a couple of more yards after they're hit.
And always straight ahead, Bud. Straight line. You don't see Notre Dame backs under Parseghian scattering around.
Now it's third down and 2. We have a pair of tight ends, Robin Weber, 91, and Casper, 86.
If it's true, I hope their parents are watching.
That's the yardage they need. Double wing formation. Hunter, look at this. Fantastic block thrown by Bullock. Tyrone King forcing Hunter out of bounds, but it's a Notre Dame first down.
Very good call. They were expecting the inside play. They have been going inside on the short yardage plays. That time it was just a straight sweep.
I'm still looking for the first down pass to Demerly. I agree with Duffy. They've got to get back to it. Mix it up.
Demerly, 85, Howard, and ladies and gentlemen, is on the near side of the field, split end again, double wing with a Best in motion. Goes to Best. Traffic jam.
What a beautiful defensive play.
Dubose, number 54.
He has been given, and Bear Bryant said at the start of the practice season, in fact, at spring practice earlier this year. Year's about to end, so it gets a little confusing at the moment. He told DuBois, you're going to have to earn that number because a fella named Leroy Jordan used to wear it. He has earned it.
All right, 2nd and 10. No gain, thanks to Mike DuBois. Hunter in motion, a fake to him. Clements has it. Casper is going deep. Shorter pattern. That was Demerly.
That's the same pattern, Chris, that Duffy was talking about at halftime. They hit it 3 times on the first touchdown drive, and Demerly was wide open on it again. He crosses the field all the way. You can see him here as he starts across the field, and we had a graphic of this theory earlier in the game where he's got to find some open slots. Let's watch Lowe, number 47. He's trying to come with him, but you can see when the quarterback is running to the bottom of the screen, too, it's very, very difficult to keep a crossing man covered all the way.
Pete should have had that ball.
And that double wing slot to the far side on a 3rd and 10 from the 38. Hunter in motion. Fake to him, he blocks. Clements rolling. There's Casper. Oh, right over the hands of number 34 of the Alabama defense, Mike Washington. 27-yard gain.
Casper is a great athlete. He was, of course, a defensive tackle.
He also, Howard, is one of the 33 football winners of a $1,000 NCAA postgraduate scholarship. And 5 other of those scholarship winners are going to play in postseason bowl games tomorrow.
And he also was the scholar athlete, the National Football Foundation and Hall of Fame in New York, Howard.
Mm-hmm.
What a young man.
And a big man.
From the 35 of Alabama, Hunter. Very good defensive play as number 56 of Notre Dame was avoided, Frank Pomerico. Alabama's John Kroll made the play. There is number 83.
He came in tough enough and a sharp enough angle to close off the inside and then rebounded off the block to close it off outside.
Oh, an exciting game, we hope.
And pointing out again the total yards, Alabama 0 in the first quarter, and look what they've done in second and thus far in the third.
2nd and 12. It was in the vicinity of Demerly.
Missed pattern, Chris.
Yes, it was.
Clements thought that Demerly was going to break to the outside, and he broke in.
Well, gentlemen, this Saturday on ABC's Wide World of Sports, East meets West in the Hula Bowl, live via the satellite from Honolulu, Hawaii, featuring top college football players from around the country, including Heisman Trophy winner Johnny Capoletti from Penn State, Outland Trophy winner Johnny Hicks of Ohio State. The East is led by All-American quarterback David James of Kansas, the West by Dave White of Arizona.
All right, now it's 3rd down and 12. Notre Dame in the white jerseys, trailing 17-14 from the Alabama 37. Intended for Hunter, number 25.
I'm not sure that he wanted to catch it. He made the right decision, I think. Going to lose 10 if he did make the catch.
That missed pattern was costly. Demerly was free.
Doherty, number 9, comes in. Mike Rain put the rush on Tom Clements, the junior quarterback from McKees Rocks, Pennsylvania.
We're going to have a field goal attempt, it appears.
54 yards, and with a following wind on an angle. Oh, he put everything he has into it. Short.
You think he had it straight?
Bob Thomas tries a 54-yard field goal, so in our 2 field goal attempts, the 45-yarder by Alabama, 54 by Notre Dame, to no avail. 4 minutes to go, 3rd quarter. As we had showers earlier in the evening, you could see the water on the poly turf, artificial turf, is still there. Not as much as there was. As Alabama has it following a missed 54-yard field goal. 1st and 10, Todd the quarterback giving to the number 3 fullback, freshman Calvin Culliver.
Alabama played 60 men in the first half, which gives you some idea of the depth of that squad.
That's, as I said, how they wear them down.
One game they played 72. They averaged 66 in 11 games.
And that's good for morale and tough on the opponent.
Second down and 8. On the 22, Richard Todd. Good play by Notre Dame's defense on Willie Shelby. Number 40, Gary Potempa. 45 and on the play. And Mahalik. Here comes Danny Ridgway, the message carrier, who has more yardage than any back.
He's kind of a cross-country man. You'll see him jogging back out. There he goes. The college rule, you don't have to stay in for a play as you formerly used to.
Sharpless 16 to the near side of the field, third down and 9. Dyer is opposite, so they have rested their regular ends. And Todd, loose ball. Does Mahalik have it?
Yes, and I think he caught it in the air, Chris.
Drew Mahalik.
Well, that's the first one in this half. We had only one turnover for each team in the first half. It has been, as you said, Bud, a super football game. Two beautifully prepared teams. Now Notre Dame gets the big break. And they've earned it because suddenly they've learned how to defend Alabama in the last 2 series.
I think they've been guessing and guessing very well. It's the last 3 snaps. It looked to me like they were playing run all the way, and Alabama will come back with some passing next time they get it.
Now to test the Alabama defense at the 12 of the Crimson Tide. First down, Notre Dame. Best in motion. Pennock back in the lineup. Pennock scores! Notre Dame has the lead.
Shades of the 85-yard touchdown run play against the University of Southern California. Counter play against the flow, beautifully executed.
And as we were talking at the start of the show, Howard, it's that fullback fake up the middle. It freezes those linebackers, and when you get the hole open and turn the corner, it was exactly the same play that broke the back of the Trojans.
As expected, a fantastic game. 5 lead changes thus far. We're still in the third quarter with 2.5 minutes to go as you look at Coach Paul Bear Bryant. And Coach Era Parseghian, whose wife Katie is a great young lady, talking about his intensity. I asked her once if he had butterflies before a game. She said butterflies, no, but eagles. The point after, good, by Bob Thomas. So Notre Dame now has a 4-point lead, 21-17.
This is Casper leading the play, and what a marvelous block he threw. Casper is 240 pounds. He's 6'3". He was an offensive tackle prior to this year, but he's been a most effective pass receiver. Let's watch the play again. Motion coming this way, fullback hitting inside. Casper ahead of it, and boy, he cleaned it up, and it was home free for Pennock.
Pennock sure didn't have much of a sore foot, did he?
It repaired in a hurry.
What's Howard Cosell really like? Tune in for a 1-hour special spotlighting this fine young man. At 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central, 1 Pacific time on most of these stations on Sunday this week. Willie Shelby back there. It's a touchback, so Alabama will get it back out at its own 20, Bud.
And he wisely played that, Chris. He hit the ball first out on the field of play, and some young men that don't have good poise think that they got to pick it up and run with it then, but the momentum of the kick put it across the goal line, and he knew it was a touchback. Good decision.
Exactly so. Yet it's the second kickoff that's been mishandled this quarter by the Tide. Calvin Culliver did it earlier. They overcame that with their 94-yard drive, or 94.
They're so fired up they can't wait for the ball to come down.
Now Gary Rutledge will quarterback Alabama, number 11 from the 20, first down. They trail 21-17. And driving hard, Paul Spivey, number 24. Reggie Barnett, along with Gary Potempa. The rest of the Notre Dame defenders, Sherm Smith, 55. Nosbush, 60. Stock, 48. Browner, 89. Rudnick, 7. Townsend, 27. Bradley, 20. Barnett, 14. Collins, number 50. Fanning, 88.
Long huddle. You sometimes think it's going to be a involved play when they stay in the huddle that long. Quarterback wanting to be certain everybody understands the signal.
Second down and 3 for Alabama. First down for the Tide, Spivey. Collins tackling. There he is, number 50 from Troy, Michigan. Let's watch Collins again. He's great.
He's lined up on the line of scrimmage this time, but he is a linebacker, as you can see. He didn't charge. He simply moved laterally, came back off the line of scrimmage to make the tackle.
I'll tell you, that Spivey's a great athlete. He's a superb baseball player, by the way. Hit 3 home runs in 1 game, 7 RBIs.
Johnny Sharpless, 16. Set away to the near side. 1st and 10 from the 35. Rutledge wants to throw. Throwing deep.
That was a little questionable, Howard.
Oh. That was Pugh, number 88. And covering number 14, Reggie Barnett. There is Wayne Wheeler, the end for Alabama.
I think he's got some kind of a little hip pointer thing from looking at how they were checking his pad there.
Pugh, number 88, is out of the Alabama lineup. You're looking at Jackson at the moment. Taking Pugh's place is Warren Dyer of Florence, Alabama, number 86. 2nd and 10.
And you can see
Bad handoff. Trouble.
Well, Notre Dame has changed their defensive alignment. They've got 7 men now on the line of scrimmage playing head up with everyone. There are no linebackers, but the linebackers are not charging. But if you're Alabama, you're not sure when somebody's lined up like a lineman if he's not going to charge. So it's confused them momentarily.
Started out 6-0. Alabama came back, made the extra point to lead 7-6. Then touchdown and 2-point. Changed it 14-12, and there's what Bud was talking about, the men up front. And he was inbounds on the play, apparently right here at about the 44. Sharpless, number 16.
Sharpless did not run the pattern deep enough to make the first down.
Which, of course, is a critical mistake. The receiver must get to at least to the point where the first down marker is.
So it is 4th down now, 4th down and 1. Gant has averaged 44.5 yards per kick. Going back deep now is Rudnick, number 7. And number 34, Bob Zanat. Gant's punt. Low.
This week, tune in for the premiere of the new Sunday edition of ABC's Wide World of Sports. The ever-popular Harlem Globetrotters will be back playing their own unique style of basketball from London, England. And from Oahu, Hawaii, top surfers from around the world attempt the treacherous waves of the Banzai Pipeline in the Hawaii Masters Surfing Championships.
Hey, Bud, you're getting pretty good at reading those promos.
Well, I tell you, Chris, it's important because there's so many good events coming up. We want people to know about it.
Okay, Pennock went one way, and Best has gone the other. And that gives you an idea of what Best is really like. And the Notre Dame players felt there was a hit late. Especially number 71 of Notre Dame felt that was the case, Steve Sylvester. But his teammates quickly came out and doing the talking for the Notre Dame team, number 56, Pomerico. And it is just that, a late hit.
And the misdirection of the Notre Dame attack the last couple of times has certainly taken care of
fooled Alabama. Yes, sir.
Personal foul against the Tide. That's a costly penalty because it puts the ball at the 47.
We can see the late hit here as Best shakes loose from one tackle, and as Howard pointed out, the Notre Dame backs, they streamline it toward the goal line, and there was the late hit which cost the 15-yard penalty.
27 seconds remaining, 3rd quarter. 1st and 10 at the Alabama 47. Bullock, who scored the first touchdown of the game, is hard to stop.
Well, that gives you some idea, I believe, of the strength of the Notre Dame backs and also their faking, because our cameramen don't lose that ball ever.
Alabama's complaining about a slow whistle on the play, apparently to no avail.
Let's see what Gene Calhoun helping the runner. He's got to do it on his own. In other words, no one put hands on him and push him or pull him.
Well, back in the early days of football, they used to have a very small quarterback, and they'd have 2 people in the backfield, and they'd throw him over the line. And then another trick that people used was to have a handle on the canvas vests that football players used to wear, and the ball carrier would grab the handle of the man who was blocking ahead of him and pull him through the line. So the rules committee felt that you shouldn't help the ball carrier.
Who told you this, Pudge Heffelfinger?
Well, Pudge was one of the people that did it. As a matter of fact, I did know him when I was a kid, growing up in Minnesota.
All right. First down now, coming from the 45, 1st and 8 really, as time has expired in the 3rd quarter. So the next snap will actually be the initial one of the 4th quarter. With the score, Notre Dame 21, Alabama 17. We pause now for station. Go from right to left for the 1st down and 8 at the 45 of Alabama. Notre Dame leads 21-17. Best in motion. Clements keeps, has Dubose and Tyrone King. And the play is stopped at the 39. The gain is 6, so it'll be 2nd down and 2.
That's always been one of the toughest plays for most coaches to defense, because you're keying the other backs, and when the quarterback runs a designed counterplay and they're reading the flow of the other backs, it's a difficult thing. Breaks down all the other keys.
The game with 5 lead changes. Notre Dame has led at the end of each quarter or period. Art Best, number 23, very little, brings up 3rd down. So what we're facing right now is the last 15 minutes for the championship of the 1973 football season of all the many hundreds of colleges and universities here in the States. 2 undefeated, untied teams here on New Year's Eve battling it out for the MacArthur Bowl. 3rd and 2. Best in motion. He has it. 1st down and more. Almost broke away.
He finished time before the Orange Bowl last year, jumping onto one of those floats in the bowl parade along with his teammate Eric Pennick. That's what I meant when I said early in the game he's a free spirit, as you're looking at the 3rd quarter statistics.
And you can't be much closer.
278 to 273.
In that time of possession, Alabama has really dominated it in the 2nd and 3rd quarters. They only had the ball a little over 4 minutes in the 1st quarter.
All right, Best in motion from the 25, 1st down. Loose ball. Alabama.
Okay.
Notre Dame drive.
Turnovers even off here in this half. This time Alabama gets its shot. You know the statistic that really impressed me a moment ago? But 101 plays in 3 quarters.
That's that tempo that we've been telling you
Now,
about.
Howard, you know why I'm so thin, right?
College boys can't wait to play. And to me, that's the big thrill of it. You don't get to play often in college football. 11 games this season, and when they get the shot, they're always ready.
And Bud, just like the other games in this century, Notre Dame, Michigan State in 66, and then Nebraska, Oklahoma, this has lived up to everything we expected for the national championship. Rutledge of Alabama. Potempa making the tackle. Wheeler has a muscle pull, number 82, the number 1 pass receiver. So Sharpless has been in the Alabama lineup for that reason. Number 16. He's a very fine senior end, a 6-footer.
He's capable, Chris. He's caught passes this year for an average of 34.6 yards per reception.
But at this point, Alabama's going to have to start to go overhead.
Well, the line, as you can see, Notre Dame's got 7 men in the line of scrimmage. There's just not much room to run.
And to Sharpless, he has it at the 35, a 15-yard gain.
With those 7 men in the line of scrimmage, you're almost certain you're going to get one-on-one coverage. This is Rudnick going against Sharpless, and he breaks outside. There can't be 2 men out there. It's just 1 when you've got 7 men up trying to stop the run.
And on this side of the field, the Crimson Tide. Oh, there's Coach Era Parseghian. Miami of Ohio graduate.
Era is pointing out that he was out of bounds before he caught the ball. So let's take a look at it again and see if Era is correct. And obviously not. In college football, 1 foot in, you're all right.
Well, it's worth trying.
Maybe the next time around it'll be different. That's what you're thinking.
All right. Rutledge. 1st down pass by Alabama. To the same man. But the ball is loose and it was intercepted. Sharpless was the intended receiver, and Notre Dame steps in. Reggie Barnett, let's see it again. He had it and lost it.
Sharpless making the break, and he's open, and there's the pass, and he had it in his fingers for a minute, but as it popped up, he could not hold it, and the turnovers now are 3 on the part of Alabama.
Two on the board of Notre Dame.
Let's watch it again. This is the small margins that we talk about. Had that pass been thrown just 1 yard further to the right, it might have been a touchdown by Sharpless rather than an interception.
You need a few breaks in football. Had his man beaten, then loses it. So Notre Dame now at its own 32.5, first down. Double wing, Best again in motion. Art Best, a sophomore, remember? So Notre Dame fans will have a lot to look forward to from Art Best. 2 more years as Lowe makes the stop, 47.
Here he is in the middle of your screen, reading. The play went away from him. He chases it, and he's got that speed we've talked about all evening. He's able to run him down from behind as he turns upfield.
Pete Demerly now to the near side. Pennick in motion. Fumble. Alabama is on top. And they get better field position, so on the exchange, it goes from the 25, the 35, and now the 40. David McMakin recovers it. Alabama will have a first down at the Notre Dame 40. Back again. A great battle. The best since the Battle of New Orleans in 1815, I'm sure.
Everything we dreamed it would be.
21-17. Notre Dame leads. Fourth quarter, Alabama just recovered another fumble with the turnovers now 3 and 3. Paul Spivey carried from the 40 of Notre Dame. Fanning on the tackle.
And speaking of good coaching, good game preparation, Alabama had solved the defenses that Notre Dame was using in the first half. It took them 1 quarter to do that. And Notre Dame now has gone to the defense on the last several plays of 7 men on the line of scrimmage, only 4 men deep, and they're going into it again. They have 1 linebacker back this time, and he's moving the line right now.
Sharpless to the near side, 2nd and 7 from the 36. Billingsley from the wishbone, moving ahead, and Greg Collins again, along with Luther Bradley, forcing him out.
I mentioned earlier when we showed Dubose, number 54, that he had to earn his number. Leroy Jordan had won it. Originally, Billingsley was given number 22, Johnny Musso's old number. He got hurt as you look at the turnovers. And Bear Bryant told him he'd have to earn number 22 back. He said, I don't want it. I want to make number 26 memorable.
Big first down, bud.
Yes, it surely is. And to finish up what I was saying about the defense, when you use the defense in the second half, the coaches really have a hard time adjusting because they don't have a calm time to explain it.
First and 10 from the 28. Rutledge has the ball for Alabama. Keeps it in. Boy, was he hard by guess who? Collins.
What a game he's played.
A junior linebacker. He'll return for the Fighting Irish. Bradley, let's see. Luther Bradley goes limping off the far side.
I don't think there's anyone that Notre Dame would less like to lose at this point, and this is Pugh coming downfield at him.
Right into the thigh.
And the man he beat out for that position, Mike Parker, will take his place, number 33, a junior from Cincinnati, Ohio. So now it's a 2nd down and 9 from the 27 of Notre Dame. Alabama with the ball, trailing. They went out in the flat to Billingsley. Couldn't make that cut back. Stopped at the 25.
Smith made a great recovery. He's the open side linebacker for Notre Dame.
This year, Coach Ara Parseghian has never been behind going into the 4th quarter. Todd now is the quarterback. Rutledge coming over along with Jackson. Mike Stock is in at left halfback for Alabama on a 3rd down and 7. 9 minutes, 54 seconds left in the game. Look at that. Back to the quarterback. Dipsy-doodle. And now Alabama takes the lead.
What a beautifully executed play.
Off the old single wing, we used to call it the Transcontinental.
Mike Stock, that boy we were talking about from Elkhart, Indiana.
I told you he'd throw a pass before it was over.
Oh, his dad didn't give the coaches any information, did he? There is Todd, the quarterback, who took the pass 25 yards. Alabama leads 23-21. Now, here is the try for the point. Rutledge holding, Bill Davis kicking it, and if he makes it, it'll put Alabama ahead by 3. No good, so now a field goal could do it.
I'd have bet anything that these two teams would not miss an extra point.
Wow. Can't believe it. 9 minutes, 39 seconds remaining in the ball game. Alabama 23, Notre Dame 21. On New Year's Eve, a dazzler by the Crimson Tide.
Most teams are not equipped really to cover the quarterback because they don't assume he's going to be a pass receiver. Stock throwing the ball back to Todd, and you can see that there is no one around him as the end Sharpless went across the field, taking the corner man with him, and he was wide open.
Now we have Hunter 25, Diminick 28. Back deep awaiting the Alabama kick. Now each team has missed an extra point in this battle for the national championship, the MacArthur Bowl, which will incidentally will be awarded after the game. 9:39 to go in the game. It's Diminick. Diminick at the 5, 10 for Notre Dame, 15. Balls forward at about the 19.
Getting back to that touchdown play, very quickly you had said, Bud, the old transcontinental out of the single wing, we used to call it. And of course, the great exponent of the single wing was the late Dr. John Bain Jock Sutherland. I remember back in about 1940, leading the then Brooklyn football Dodgers against the Munsters of the Midway, the Chicago Bears. The Dodgers pulled that play for a touchdown. Ace Parker was their tailback. The ball was handed off to the wingback, Banks McFadden out of Clemson. He threw downfield to Parker, suddenly a receiver, and for the only time that year, and he went all the way for the score.
Oh, I didn't know you were that old.
It's true.
Were you there?
Saw it when he was a boy.
Okay. Al Hunter 25, Pennock 44, Bullock number 30 are in the Notre Dame backfield with Clements the quarterback. Alabama called for a timeout. Howard, tell us a little about the hour. I'm going to watch it because I've known you a long time.
I know nothing about
an
it.
Interesting friend. And
What
do you mean they filmed you?
Yeah, but they filmed me for a span of many months. NFL films in the cinema verite style, but I've not seen.
I hope they show your wife and two charming daughters.
They've got to, otherwise I'm a goner.
But you haven't changed your character from month to month, have you?
Hey, you know, the Superstars returns to ABC Sunday, January 27th with some of the world's greatest athletes. It's going to be a great series. Guys like Reggie Jackson, Petey Rose, Jimmy Palmer, Tug McGraw, O.J. Simpson, Mean Joe Green, Paul Warfield, Billy Toomey, Jim Ryan, Lee Evans, just a few, many more. Johnny Havlicek. You're going to love it.
23-21, Alabama leading. Sixth lead change. Now Notre Dame is put to the test. First and 10 from their own 19. And there's Al Hunter, the freshman, who had a 94-yard touchdown tonight. There he is, number 95 or 25. He was stopped by Ricky Davis, 19, and 54, Mike Dubose, after a 15-yard gain.
And that's the first time we've had the reverse off the fullback fake and the normal swing off tackle. Caught Alabama going to the bottom of your screen.
Steve Quayle is in at offensive left tackle for the Fighting Irish, number 77. From the 33, first and 10. 8 minutes, 50 seconds to go in the game. Pennock. Oh, what moves.
He picked up that yardage on his own, Bud. Stripped of his blocking, he was able to turn that corner.
Tyrone King, who missed the tackle, is one of the surer tacklers that Alabama has, too. He just gave him that little inside juke and then had speed enough to get around.
Gaining 5 yards, bringing it out to the 38 of Notre Dame. Second and 5. 8:21 left in the game. Alabama leading 23-21. So much at stake. Now from the double wing, Hunter goes in motion. A fake handoff to Pennock, and Clements keeps it. Beyond the line, he'll run it. Tom Clements, 360 yards gained on the ground this year for the junior from the Keys Rocks, Pennsylvania. And he gets the first down for the Irish. We talked about Howard Cosell's at-large show titled What Is He Really Like? The hour special spotlights him at 2:30 Eastern, 1:30 Central, 1 o'clock Pacific time over most of these ABC stations on Sunday.
All right, quarterback gets outside the contained man. It's always going to be a big game.
Now from the 46 of Notre Dame, first down. Bullock, number 30. Skip Cabelas, 72 and 50, Wayne Hall.
He got off on the ball so fast that time I thought he was offside.
I'll tell you, that's right. He's had that problem from time to time. He's been called offside in the opinion of Alabama when he hasn't really been on occasion.
Let's see if he was here. There's the move, and I don't think he'd encroached. He was moving before the ball moved, but I don't think he'd encroached on the neutral zone.
So now it's second down and 10. Mark Brenneman is the snapper to Clements, number 2 for Notre Dame. Clements has time. Now he's beyond the line. He's got to run. Again, receivers covered. Mainly the primary receiver appeared to be Casper, who had gone deep but was afforded double coverage.
Alabama had the rush on. Clements has got that great speed and movement back there. If that had been any kind of an inside setup to throw the ball, he'd have been caught for long loss.
Well, Notre Dame, as we look at Gary Rutledge, the Huck Finn type, the redhead from Fife, Alabama. Now at the 45. It's a 3rd and 1 for Notre Dame. Clements. Casper's out there. Casper deep. Would you believe?
No, I don't. He had double coverage. The pass was underthrown, really. The 2 players were following Casper rather than the ball. He followed the ball.
This is why it helps to be 6'3" and 240. Watch him now as he uses his body beautifully against Ricky Davis. He simply turned and gave Ricky Davis a basketball block, and he is so big and strong. A sensational catch on Casper's part.
Casper, 2 catches, 48 yards. 1st and 10 for Notre Dame at the Alabama 15. 6 minutes, 26 seconds left in the game. Alabama leading 23-21. Best. Hunter, excuse me, number 25. Now Best is coming back into the lineup. Pennick, 44, is going out, and an Alabama player. Hard hitting on this artificial turf tonight in this championship game.
It says more than lived up to all of our expectations.
We hope you'll be all right. We'll get a report just as soon as we can. 2nd and 7 now for Notre Dame at the 12. Pennick going in motion to the near side. Clements keeping. Clements, number 2, on the move. Clements out of bounds at about the 5, or perhaps inside it.
And the ability of Clements to turn the corner. He's done it consistently on this drive. Alabama's defensive contained man has been caught inside because of the lateral movement and the faking of the Irish backs.
8-yard gain, 1st and goal. Howard at the 4.
I'll say this for John McKay, as he spoke for all the college coaches of the land: as long as our quarterbacks run the football, we've got an extra dimension. And I think that's true and unchallenged.
Double wing.
It won't be when they snap it.
No, they'll put one of them in motion. Pennick. Very little gain. 2nd down and goal for Notre Dame. Clock running, 5:40 left in the game, with Alabama leading by 2, 23-21.
This Notre Dame line is so big, and their takeoff is so strong, it's going to be very difficult for the Tide.
Early diagnosis on John Kroll, the defensive end of Alabama, is that he has not sustained any serious injury. He was just knocked out and taking a little long to come back, snap back. All right. 2nd and goal from about the 3.5. Best. Still no touchdown. 3rd down coming up. Mike Washington.
The Tide is stubborn, and how much bigger that missed extra point by the Tide looms me.
That is right. Mike Washington, number 34, made a great play here. His boy had been troubled by an ankle and came into this game. Bear thought he was a little bit doubtful, but he was one-on-one there against Best, and he stood him off.
And Leroy Cook, who took Kroll's place, is in there, number 98, also helping. 3rd and goal now. The Tide moving along with Pennick. All right, Clements wants to go in the air. Woo, it's 4th down. Bullock was the intended receiver. And so, Bob Thomas, as we indicated, they both have great kickers, punters, and field goal. And now it's up to Thomas on 4th down to put the Irish ahead.
Thomas has tried and missed, too, from beyond his kicking range, but
this one is just exactly like an extra point, as you can see, but that was a tremendous goal line stand.
So it's from the 9 plus the 10 of the end zone. 19 yards, it's up, and Ike just made it.
Yeah, he was a little to the right, but just within that right post.
19-yarder by Bob Thomas, the senior from Rochester, New York. Watch how close. Doherty holding.
There's the kick, and
Wow.
definitely it was in, but if those college posts weren't wider than the professional posts, it would have been out.
Now
There
Alabama
you
will
go.
have 4 minutes and 26 seconds in which to score. A thriller on New Year's Eve in the Carnival City, the exciting city of New Orleans. Notre Dame has just made a lead change for the 7th time, kicking a 19-yard field goal to lead 24-23. Notre Dame kicking off. Alabama 1 point down. Robin Carey is the boy with the ball, and Carey is out of bounds near his own 40.
A poor kickoff, a great new opportunity for the Crimson Tide. It comes down now then to this. 4 minutes, 16 seconds left, 15 counting down. A whole season, two superbly prepared, unbeaten teams as we watch again how that field goal by Thomas narrowly went in there, inside the right goal post. Deported, as Bud Wilkinson pointed out earlier, the extra distance between the goal posts at the college game level. And these two great teams separated by only 1 point. A great kickoff return by Robin Carey. The action resumes, Chris.
At the 40, first down. Rutledge is the quarterback. Number 11 loses his footing, and making sure was Bradley.
That may be the most expensive slip of the season for Alabama.
It may be, but I'll have to see it.
Loss of 5.
I've seen them come back so many times in this game, and Notre Dame too, and Alabama all season. 21 points, as I said, in the final quarter against Tennessee, trailing Kentucky as we look at the countdown, 14-0 at the half, winning, trailing Georgia, scoring 2 touchdowns in the last 5 minutes to win it.
2nd and 15, the pass intended for Sharpless.
That hurt.
Wow.
Sure did.
Down. And 15 for Alabama and the Crimson jerseys. 3 minutes, 40 seconds to go. 24-23. The first time these two teams have met on the football field. Once in basketball. But there's Wayne Wheeler, the number 1 pass receiver for Alabama that has not been in the lineup.
Yeah, and I would guess we could look for another trick-type play like Alabama's touchdown was scored on. I don't know what it'll be, but it'll be something that's got some unusual movements in it, and I would guess it might be a hitch pass and a forward pass.
All right.
Oh, what a critical play.
The freshman,
Browner. What a day, what a night he has had. His pursuit was extraordinary when we didn't get an opportunity to mention it some minutes ago. Earlier you saw him make an unassisted tackle. He's been great.
4th down and 20, and here's Greg Gant, the Alabama punter.
Averaging 48.7 yards per punt, and he really needs to hit this one.
Tim Rudnick in single safety, and he does, and maybe that...
What a mistake
roughing the
by
kicker.
Notre Dame. Browner,
The freshman.
talking about.
A roughing the punter penalty coming up. That won't matter.
Gant did his job. They downed it on the 1 yard line. And
65
you can see
yards.
the hilarity here, the happiness, but this penalty that you're about to see again, Gant dropping the ball.
Here, Bud.
And here he comes.
Did you notice how long the official waited to throw that flag to make sure? He thought about it carefully. What a tough job the officials have.
He was not touched on the play, and if you are not blocked into it and you fail to get the ball, it is roughing the kicker, because it's a very dangerous play when a man is standing on 1 foot and 1 foot high in the air, as Gant had that time.
Now, 3 minutes left. The final quarter, the biggest game of the year, 24-23.
Alabama refused the penalty.
They declined the penalty. They're going for
And they're going to take the field position and maybe force them to a safety is what they're thinking about. The ball is on the 1 yard line, and if they can penetrate and make the tackle behind the goal line, Bama will go ahead.
I'll tell you, people are watching some football game here. We've said this many times during the course of the contest. One could have expected it, I suppose, because of the nature of both teams, the coaches, the coaching staffs, and the issue at stake, the national championship.
We were concerned going into the game about whether Alabama's defense would measure up, and Bear Bryant right now has expressed total confidence in them, not taking the roughing the kicker penalty and thinking we'll stop them inside the 10.
All right, at the 1, Notre Dame with a first down. Pennick in motion. Wayne Bullock testing the Alabama defense. 2 minutes, 54 seconds to go. Alabama with 3 timeouts, 2 timeouts.
Notre Dame has 3 timeouts, Bama only 2, and the clock will count down. Notre Dame needs the first down. That's all they're thinking about, and Bama's thinking we can't let them have the first down.
Do you have any disposition to second-guess the Bears' judgment?
Not if they stop him from making a first down, and that's what he was counting on the defense's ability to do.
I don't know. They only had to get to field goal position.
Pinnock in motion. 2nd and 7. Bullock.
And if they stop them on this next play, I would feel that the decision has been vindicated. If they don't stop him, of course, it's always that guessing game, Howard.
Powerful wind blowing from left to right. It swirls in this stadium because there are some openings at the 4 corners of Tulane Sugar Bowl Stadium.
Alabama has just taken another timeout, which will leave them with 1 timeout remaining. If Notre Dame could make the first down, Bama would not see the ball again. So it's all riding at the moment on whether the Alabama defense can stop Notre Dame on the next snap.
In support of Bear's decision, as you said, he believed in his defense. And no matter how good the punt is, Alabama still figures to be in field goal position. Although there'll be less than 2 minutes left to play, they'll be able to run a number of plays to get in even closer.
I would
so this is it for Notre Dame.
Feel that there's a chance here of Clements using one of those rollout type passes that have been so successful all night. But the risk you take if you do that is that safety that we talked about, because he's going to be back some 5 or 6 yards after he has faked the handoff and then trying to turn the corner.
Well, Bear Bryant, who has a total of 231 victories, 69 losses, and 16 ties in 29 years of head coaching, or 75% victories, made a decision, and now his team has to stop Notre Dame. 2:12 to go, 3rd and 5 for the Irish. And there.
That was a big penalty. They're back again now where, well, it's only half the distance, so they're not going to be quite as close to the goal line as they were when they had it 1st and 10.
This is the dream match, the most important game of the year.
Notre Dame and Alabama. At Notre Dame, football is a religion. At Alabama, it's a way of life.
All started at Notre Dame 84 years ago. Rockney, Leahy, Parseghian. 3rd down. Clements coming out. There's a pass, and he's got his man. Robin Weber, number 91, a sophomore from Dallas, Texas.
Give Tommy Clements all the credit in the world. We said at the very top of the show he was a young man who was not afraid to throw. That his favorite receiver was Demily. He proved that out. That his second favorite receiver was Casper. He proved that out as you look at the scoreboard clock. And now to number 81. What a clutch play.
34 yards. 1st down at the 38, and there's Coach Paul Bear Bryant. Minute 56 to go. Notre Dame leading 24-23. Controlling that ball, leading up the clock. Wayne Bullock for a yard.
And that decision, when they made the first down, Howard.
Yeah, Bear is going to be second-guessed, but how can anybody ever second-guess this man?
No
All
way,
the years
no way.
of coaching greatness.
A legend. So with the ball at the 39, it's 2nd down and 9 for Notre Dame. Minute 34 to go. Notre Dame coming up to the line. It's Mark Brenneman, number 59 in the center. He's done a great job. Very steady. His best goes in motion. Clements on a keeper. Minute 20 to go in the game. 1-point difference as Kabiris and Lowe are on the tackle.
Bama will wait 1 more down to take their last timeout. If they stop Notre Dame here and force them into a punting situation, they will take the timeout.
3rd down and 7 coming up. The ball at the 41.
I don't think you'll find Mr. Clements throwing on this occasion.
Pinnock is out, so here may come some sort of a special play. We have Hunter 25, Bullock 30, Best 23, and Demmerle goes to the far side.
You've got to feel that everybody would agree, Howard, and he did it before. And he's going to do it again, except he can run.
Oh, he was just missed, and he gets out across the 47.
No, if he made the first down.
It's going to be very close.
So it was
going back to that pass, Chris. I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback we look at Paul Bear Bryant, and I know what's going through his mind, but I don't think I've ever seen a quarterback in college throw a more clutch play. And it's easy to hit a guy if he's only 15 or 20 yards away from him, but to throw that ball about 45 yards and throw it right on stride, it was a remarkable play.
Let's don't forget that 19-yard field goal by a man named Bob Thomas, the senior from Rochester, New York.
But always when you look back at a game, you think of the mistakes, the failures, and that missed extra point by Alabama. Notre Dame had missed one on a bad snap from center, but atoned for it with the gambling two-point play that worked successfully again. Tommy Clements throwing just over Rhodes and into Pete Demilee's hands.
There's George Kelly. Look at the expressions on those people's faces.
That's ecstasy. He's worked all season.
It is.
He's dreamt about it, and it happened.
All right, 3 seconds left on the clock. Carried, and that's it. Notre Dame, the great name in football, is now the national champion by 1 point and will receive the MacArthur Bowl from the National Football Foundation. Be presented to them by John Galbraith, the Columbus, Ohio sportsman. Vice President of the foundation was Vince Strade, Chairman, and the Honorable George Murphy, President of the foundation.
Woo! Howard, I always look back to the games I've coached. Played a few here, lost one to Bear Bryant here when he was coaching at Kentucky, and the difference between winning and losing in a major bowl game at the end of the season is as far as you can go polarized from an emotional standpoint.
Sure, that's true, Bud, and you look at it all over again. That's what it came down to. 1 point. And the intense look at that child.
Oh, that's
Tears
agony.
in the eyes and beginning to come down the face.
1 point and 1 play. Had Clements not hit the pass, Bama's going to have field position. Bama might get the field goal.
First it was Newt Rockney, then Frank Lay. Now it's the era of era. He has really done it, winning the 6th national championship for the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, and that spirit carries on. And there he is, Era Parseghian, Charlie Gluck, one of the officials of the Sugar Bowl committee, is in the blue coat. Bob Bobinger, we'd like to congratulate him. Captain Joe Katz, the executive director of the Sugar Bowl, the New Orleans Midwinter Sports Association. And there he is.
To Coach Era Parseghian, Notre Dame. Coach!
The first unanimous national championship for Era Parseghian, 50 years old.
Coach, it was a pleasure. Thank you.
It's the Sugar Bowl trophy, not yet the MacArthur Bowl, 400 ounces of silver.
Your Sugar Bowl committee, you award the important trophy first.
Right. The chant is Era, Era.
Well,
And his mother down here to see the game in person.
And Era's doing a great job for multiple sclerosis, as you pointed out, Chris,
Yes.
earlier in the game, in addition to the great job.
on behalf of the entire Notre Dame family, I can't tell you how thrilled we are to be able to participate in the Sugar Bowl Classic and to be able to win the championship. Also, please. I would also like to pay tribute. I would
Like
like
another
to pay
Notre Dame
tribute
pep rally, really.
to the Alabama team, one of the finest football teams we've ever played, one of the best coached football teams we've ever played. We're thrilled. It was a great game for college football.
He's right about that.
How true. Era Parseghian, of another religion, a Protestant, graduate of Miami of Ohio, and he's done the job for the Fighting Irish in South Bend. By the narrowest of margins, 24-23, Notre Dame is national champion. John Galbraith now presenting the MacArthur Bowl to Era Parseghian.
On behalf of the Rose Bowl Committee, that we want to thank you very much for this great I can't tell you how thrilled I am to accept the MacArthur Bowl symbolic of the national championship.
There it is, 24-23, and here at the birthplace of the Blues, that's what Alabama has right now, but it's triumph and applause for Notre Dame. Yes, it's a Happy New Year on behalf of everyone at ABC, and especially from our president, Roone Arledge. Tonight's coverage of the Sugar Bowl is produced by Chuck Howard, directed by Andy Sedaris, technical director John Allen, associate producer Terry Jastro, associate director Roger Goodman. Once again, the final score, Notre Dame 24, Alabama 23. Our thanks to Terry O'Neill for his statistics and our fine spotter, Bill Creel. Now this is Chris Schenkel speaking for Bud Wilkinson, Duffy Doherty, and Howard Cosell saying so long and Happy New Year from the Sugar Bowl. Air travel arranged through and a promotional fee paid by United Airlines, chosen for travel by more sports teams than any other airline. The proceeding was a presentation of ABC Sports, recognized around the world as a leader in sports television.